fortunate to have His Excellency Mohamed Mukhtar Ibrahim, the current Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources for the Federal Republic of Somalia. His Excellency has worked in the office of the President previously for the Federal Republic, and during his tenure, his position allowed him to interact with a wide range of issues from foreign policy to state formation process and economic development. That was all prior to his becoming Minister for Petroleum and Mineral Resources. He has a master's degree in the development studies and accredited business advisor in the private sector. I'm particularly interested in hearing the movements on in Somalia. I think it was 2 years ago we did have a presentation here made by the Somalian government which was advertising a proposed bid round. So I'm really looking forward to see how that progress has been made, because there's a lot of prospectivity in the country. So please would you welcome His Excellency the Minister to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable guests, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and privilege for me to be here today at the 22nd African Oil Week. First and foremost, I want to thank organizers for organizing such a wonderful event. I want to quickly go through where we stand, as Peter asked, where Somalia stands. As usual, it's not responding. Oh, yeah. You should just put it this way. Yeah. All right. Somalia is just emerging from a prolonged conflict and is moving toward normalcy. There's a huge challenges ahead of us, and success can only be achieved by commitment and endeavor. Furthermore, process of peace building cannot be realized through quick fix, but gradual and long term. We know the road to peace is not easy, and it's not going to be smooth. In August 2012, a permanent federal government was formed. Hopes have returned, security have improved, and the country is expected to enter a new dawn. However, Somalia faces challenges, whether it's political, economical, and social. However, those challenges include basic education, health, provision of clean water, irrigation, transportation. All these and social services need to be sorted. And the country is economically it's not in a position to finance all this. Also, there's a high unemployment. Actually, it stands 70% of the young people. And the external debt is about 5.3 billion, which is equivalent 93% of the GDP. Furthermore, Somalia does not belong in the economic blocs such as East African Community, COMES, or other blocs. And it's ranked when it comes to an exporting country, 171, which means that there's a trade deficit challenge. Despite all this, Somali poverty is not the result of lack of resources. Actually, the country belongs or owns the richest fishing ground in the world, and also is believed to have possessed petroleum and natural gas fields. Somalia's potential hope for revenue streams that could contribute to the inclusive economic development of the country if managed well. And we underline that word, if it's managed well, because as a government, we know what the other countries have experienced when it comes to managing oil resources. And if we manage well, the petroleum resources may boost investment that could result in revenues with the potential to provide sustainable economic benefits for all Somalis. And as a government, we are determined to move away from reliance on foreign aid. Somalia has been relying on foreign aid for the last almost 30 years. And we are determined, and we are grateful for those who support us, but I think it's time that we use our natural resources to move away from relying on foreign aid and using our resources to finance our own needs. As the map shows, Somalia has 8 sedimentary basins, adjacent areas in Ethiopia just across the border, having similar geology now has proven discoveries. Kenya have had new recent discoveries. All this confirm the existence of working petroleum system in the Horn of Africa. East Africa now is becoming a hotspot for oil and gas exploration due to the recent discoveries in the Indian Ocean. Tanzania, Mozambique are classic examples. Somalia is currently experiencing a significant level of interest that has led to investments being made to undertake seismic surveys which will confirm the presence of oil and gas reserves. Somalia is not new to oil exploration, for it dates back to the 1950s. Sinclair Company was the first to lay down foundation for the hydrocarbon exploration. In the 1980s, international oil companies signed concession agreements with the Somali government. Such companies include Chevron, Conoco, Amoco, Shell, and ExxonMobil. In June 2014, Soma Oil and Gas successfully completed offshore seismic survey without any security incident and acquired 20,500 kilometer lines of 2D seismic data. This has actually further intensified the interest in developing Somali oil and gas industry. In September 2015, the federal government of Somalia entered into an agreement with the Spectrum. The agreement allows Spectrum to acquire approximately 28,000 kilometers of long 2D seismic data offshore of South Somalia. The Spectrum will also execute infills. General petroleum sector in post-conflict countries face challenges and potential problems and misperceptions and feelings of mistrust among the population, and Somalia is no exception. These are the challenges that Somali petroleum sector faces, whether it's ownership or the institutional or locating the legacy data or attracting foreign investments. Somalia has moved from a unitary government system to a federal government system, and this creates a contested authority of the petroleum sector and revenue sharing. We have set a priority to develop a common vision on petroleum sector development. To achieve this priority, we are in the process of resolving issues related to the ownership, control, revenue sharing, and harmonizing our laws and regulations. We have developed a regional outreach plan and have started engaging the federal member states in the development of revenue sharing mechanism. It gives me great pleasure to announce that the regional engagement efforts have so far been very productive. We are in the agreement that the natural resources of Somalia, particularly the oil, gas, and minerals, should be explored, developed, and produced for both export and domestic use. We are making a final push towards an agreement on revenue sharing, ownership, and management, and we aim to complete this important task as soon as possible. We believe that the development of common vision on the petroleum sector development will help us consolidate our petroleum law and our constitutional. In fact, on October 21st, the federal government of Somalia and the federal member states held a meeting in Mogadishu and signed a preliminary agreement. These are the images that the federal government has visited Puntland, Southwest, and Jubaland. And this is the day that we held a meeting in Mogadishu and signed a preliminary agreement. And the aim of that agreement was to establish a common vision between the federal government and federal member states on ownership, control, and revenue sharing on the oil and gas and minerals. Now let's turn to our attention how Somalia is getting ready for the oil sector development. Through the petroleum sector inclusive development, the World Bank is working with us and providing support, the trainings for negotiation team on contract development and management, development of legal and regulatory and fiscal framework, and facilitating consultative workshops on revenue sharing. This initiative is part of the pragmatic approach for strengthening core economic institutions and expanding economic opportunity for Somalia. The anticipated outcome is that the federal authorities and federal member states will decide upon the Somali constitution as well as the petroleum legal framework with respect to the definition of ownership, control, and revenue sharing of resources that meets the legitimate expectations of all Somali stakeholders. African Legal Support Facility, which is under the African Development Bank, is also working with us and providing advisory service support in terms of legal assistance to the ministry in developing a production sharing model which is competitive and balances the interests of the international oil companies and Somalis. Also, Deloitte is working with us on providing support for the analysis of pre-1991 concession agreements and revenue sharing and also contracts. And also, we have Financial Governance Committee, which is made of Somalia, World Bank, IMF, and they give us support on the contract reviews and assessments on key provisions on contracts. Now, if I jump over to what we are always interested in is that current opportunities and future opportunities. Current opportunities, there are areas of Somalia not yet covered with seismic investigation. The ministry is promoting this, so at least we know what we have as a country and as a nation. Gravimetric and magnetic surveys are still required to support the seismic data. Future opportunities include BSAs. As I mentioned earlier, we are working the BSA models. We are also working the legal framework and regulatory body. We are establishing the national oil companies, Somali Petroleum Authority. We are going to make them function. All these are prerequisites to have a BSA model that serves Somalia's interests and also attracts international oil companies. All those are in the pipeline, and we will soon have them finalized. Finally, the Somali government is committed to have financial, legal, and regulatory regime that makes it attractive to enterprise to explore, develop, and produce petroleum in Somalia and provide investors with assurances of stability. We are sincerely inviting you to explore the potential opportunity that the petroleum sector of Somalia offers. And lastly, I want to thank again for the organizers of organizing such wonderful event, and I also like to thank Peter. I thought I came from far away, from Somalia, but actually he came from Australia, so I can't beat that. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. It's very good to see that a government is actually trying to get all the legislative framework in place prior to going out to a bid round or anything. So we encourage you to do it as fast as you can so we can come and explore in your country. Thank you very much, Minister.